Hi, once again, Sand Shark fans. It's time for another episode of Sand Shark Bites. I'm Jody Vermilyea, and I'm joined with baseball's head coach, Bam Christian. Well, Bam, kind of a rough weekend out at Sand Shark Park, but still some positives to take away from the weekend.
Yeah, it was a tough weekend, but outside of the final marks on the scoreboard, there were a lot of positives to build off of. You could definitely tell we knew what we were getting into at the point, and they're a great program. Very proud of Coach Tyler and what he's been able to do there, and what he's been able to keep the program at a high level. And I told him that. I'm very proud of him. But we knew going into it is obviously they had an extra series on us, and it showed. But you want to play a good team early in the season to give us a good measuring bar to where we're at and what we've got to work on. And it showed a couple of things. Some of our deficiencies were highlighted in that series. But again, I liked the way our guys battled, and I knew our offense was going to take some time. But there was great improvement from game 2 to 3, and then from game 3 to 4 in the season. And so there were some positives there. It was definitely tough on the scoreboard, but I liked where our heads were. I liked the way we fought. I liked their intensity, our energy. Just our execution wasn't there. And there's some things we've got to tighten up defensively. But for the most part, yeah, it was a tough weekend, but I definitely like where we're heading.
Your starters still gave you some great innings. We had Eamon Collins started the game on Friday and pitched really well, struck out 5 in 5 innings. He looks great in the early going.
Yeah, our start pitching was great. They did a good job. Even Matt Malatesta, Matty was not where he wanted to be, but he grinded enough and gave us a chance. But our starters were great. Eamon was fantastic. The breaker was there. And again, we still have him on pitch count early in the season. Knowing conference play is coming up, it'd be different if we didn't play conference play till March. We could work on some things a little bit differently. But knowing we play conference play this week, we're pretty strict on Eamon and his planning and preparation throughout the week. And so he had 2 more innings easy, in that first game. So taking him out was a challenge. Another one of those deals where that's the plan we have going into place for that game. So we're not trying to let emotions come into play there at that point in time and say, look, man, keep that guy in the game, because he was great. The breaker was good, fastball was good. He was in the zone consistently. And our starting pitchers, they eliminated free baseball, and we talked about that with Point, knowing that they have a dynamic offense. They're going to run. They've got some presence in the middle of the order, and we've got to eliminate walks, hit by pitches, and errors. Mm-hmm. And if you can do those things, then it gives yourself a chance. And I thought our starting pitchers did a great job doing that. I think our defense let down at some times, and some of the mistakes we made were definitely capitalized. And their runs scored were a direct result of those. And so you can look back and see some of the mistakes that are made, and they did a good job of capitalizing those mistakes.
How about Caleb Clark coming in Friday and striking out the side?
Yeah, Caleb was good, and he
had
has
good
been,
stuff.
Caleb's been that way, this year. He's been great. He was a guy that came in at the break last year, so he hasn't had a fall with us still this year. So he came in and started learning in the spring and has first fall with us, which we do a lot of our developmental stuff in the fall,
mm-hmm.
Preparation and planning and getting those guys ready. And he did a great job this fall and was really good. It's just a matter of keeping his confidence level up and putting him in a position to be successful. He's still young. He's just a sophomore, and he's still trying to figure it out.
Sure.
And so our thought was, we got to get him a chance because he's going to see big innings for us. Mm-hmm. And he did a great job. Came in, fastball was good, breaker was sharp. He did. He struck out the side in his first real appearance this year. And we look for much more of that throughout the remainder of the season. Sure,
and tomorrow we're back at it. We have Columbia International in for a doubleheader beginning at 1 o'clock at Sand Shark Park. They're a first-year baseball program, right?
Yes, sir. CAU is going to be a good club for us. They're playing the AAC, so they'll play a lot of the same guys that we're used to seeing. But location-wise, they're now the second NAIA school in the state of South Carolina as far as baseball is concerned. So we see those guys in the recruiting trail the past year or so. Coach is an experienced guy. He's a former big leaguer. Was a big-time college player, and I think they mirror some of that approach. They've played Weber already. They played Trinity Baptist this weekend. So we play a lot of the same schools, a lot of the same context that we have, and a lot of the same players. We've seen most of their guys throughout junior college, throughout the recruiting of the last
mm-hmm.
year. So we're not completely blind, and we've had some of those guys on campus. So. We're not going into it completely blind tomorrow, but it's going to be a good test for us. They are, again, a first-year program. They are much more transfer-heavy than MACU was. So a lot of junior college transfers, and they've got some young guys as well, but the majority of their guys are junior college transfers who can come in and make an immediate play. And so we'll see what happens. I know they've got a big arm in Parrish. He's a really good arm. I doubt we'll see him. He had another great outing this weekend. Their middle of the order has some presence about them. They're going to drive in some runs there. Their catcher's a dynamic player. A Division I transfer with a plus arm. So I think it's a great matchup for us. It's going to be a completely different look than Point this weekend. They're not going to move, they're not going to run, they're not going to attack there, but they're going to have the ability to bang. They're going to have the ability to play a more pro-style offense than what we've seen this past weekend. And that was another good thing to see. I like to see different styles of play. I like to see different different teams, different ways of doing things as we move into conference play. We just don't have the luxury that, say Point or say you have of having another 3 weeks for conference play starts. We start Friday. So having is the biggest difference of teams we can play and talent levels, and as much as we can expose our guys to at this point in time early in the season, the better. And I think it'd be a great test for us for tomorrow.
And let's talk about conference play, which you just referenced. Starts Friday. Florida Memorial comes to call at Sand Shark Park. What are we looking to get out of this weekend besides 3 W's?
Yeah, it's always different when you start conference play so soon because you just don't know what you're going to get. And Flomo is no different than us at this point. That they've played 1 game to this point. They've had some schedule issues, so again we're rolling into conference play with 1 game, and it was a non-conference game. So they played St. Thomas in an early game, and so we have nothing to really go off of. I know they returned majority of their offense from last year, and they had a young offense 2 years ago, so they have the same offense back. The pitching staff, they've got a couple arms back, but we don't really know a lot about their staff, and that to me is always concerning when you're going into a conference series and not knowing what you're going to see on the mound. But I feel very comfortable with their offense, and it's a good, talented offense. But again, we've got pretty detailed reports on every hitter. We keep that stuff from year to year, and I like our chances there. But when conference play comes out again, you throw all that stuff out the window.
Sure.
It comes down to who's ready to compete and who's ready to execute, and it's a great start, and we're excited to get out there and get some wins at home this weekend and continue on building what we're doing. Hopefully tomorrow we can get some momentum and continue to clean things up, get some guys some different reps, and then be ready to go for this weekend against Flomo.
And let's hope it doesn't rain this week.
Well,
the forecast has a little rain in the forecast.
Always,
and
every Thursday.
But you guys will get the field ready. We know
Yes,
you do
sir.
a great job with
Thanks,
that.
sir.
So we look forward to seeing
Yes,
the
sir.
Sand Sharks back on the field tomorrow and then again on Friday.
Yes, sir.
Of course, we'll have all the action on the Sand Shark Game Day Network. You can find that by logging on to uscbathletics.com and following the links to the live stream. Bam, thanks for your time today.
Sir,
We look
thank
forward to seeing you out on the field. And that's it for this episode of Sand Shark Bites. We'll be right back with Bailey Wigness, head coach of softball, to talk about their successful weekend. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Sand Shark Bites. Now we're sitting down with softball's head coach, Bailey Wigness. 4 wins and 4 W's for Team 9.
Yeah, it was an interesting weekend to say the least. But the important thing, like you said, we got 4 wins. I think it's no secret to anybody who's watched us in the past, to our returners, that we're not playing very well right now. But I think the mark of a great team is that you find different ways to win, and that's what we're doing right now. So I expect us to continue to get better and clean up the things that need to be cleaned up. But ultimately, like you said, can't complain about 4 wins on the weekend.
So let's talk about how Game 2 on Saturday ended and how Game 1 ended yesterday.
Yeah.
We had a sacrifice fly that scored the winning run in the bottom of the 7th in Game 2 on Saturday.
Yeah, that was a interesting play. It was a very shallow sac fly, but fortunately the left fielder dove for it and kind of took her away from home plate. So fortunate for us there, but I think the hitters before did a good job of putting ourselves in that situation for Bree Dunn to come up and, but it looked like in the books to the fence sac fly.
Better believe it. And then Game 1 yesterday, we had an out call at home plate, a force out at home to end the game. If the run had scored, it would have tied the game. That's some exciting stuff from a broadcasting perspective, and good heads-up play by your team.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I went
In a
back and
weird play.
I watched the broadcast. You guys, nobody covers an exciting play better than you. So that was good. But yeah, it was a heads-up play by our freshman, Mac Freeman. Kate Toole, who was pitching, she gets a lot of mishit balls like that because of her spin that she has. And so I think like I said, Mac Freeman at first base had the heads up to let the ball come back in fair,
Right.
step on the base, and then again another heads up play to throw and get the out at home.
Well
So
executed.
It was very well executed, and she was out. We did look at the replay film, so it was an exciting way to end the game.
And how about Maria Malasso over the weekend? 2 games, 2 complete games, 1 complete game.
One.
One complete
Yeah.
game, that's right. But 2 wins.
Yep.
and throwing the ball very well, locating very well.
She is, and she's always had this in her. I think last year, again, Abby Pack was in the circle for us, kind of carried us most of the way, and then Sloan Ducey kind of came out of nowhere her freshman year. So Maria has been waiting for this. She's been waiting for this opportunity, and nobody works harder than she does. I mean, she sets the standard for us in every way, shape, or form in terms of everything we're doing on the field, in the classroom, and so for her to be throwing like this and get that opportunity to lead this team in the circle, I'm excited for her. Her teammates are excited for her, and I expect her to keep going for us. And
Sloan Ducey, now a sophomore, also pitched well. Of course, she dazzled last year in her freshman year, and still throwing well this year.
Yeah, she's doing what she needs to do. And like we talked about it last week, not as many strikeouts, but she's pitching to her defense, and I expect nothing less from her moving forward. Just throw to the defense and give us an opportunity to win games.
So you're 6-0, and that takes us into tomorrow. You've got Savannah State coming in for a doubleheader starting at 2 o'clock out at Sandshark Park. We'd love to see you there. What are you looking for tomorrow out of Team 9?
Just to kind of clean the things up that we need to clean up. I think this last weekend, defense didn't play great, but it played great when we needed to. Offense, we didn't score a lot of runs. We didn't have a ton of great at-bats, but when we needed it, we got it done. And so I think that's an exciting thing to me is, again, finding different ways to win. And, we talked about it that when you're ranked in the top 25, everyone's coming for you. You have a big target on your back, and so I expect that every team we play to bring their best game at us. And so far in the 6 games we've played, we've had some really good games, and it's exciting for us. We need to be in those situations. We need to be in the tight games. Now, would it be nice to win 8-0 every game?
Sure.
Yes, but moving forward, we need to have that experience of playing in the tight games. So I expect Savannah State to come in. They're a D2 team. They were D1 last year, so I expect them to play well, and we gotta show up and play USCB softball. We played them last fall. They're a good team, so we're expecting a good game tomorrow.
And then you all hit the road and head up to Middle Georgia on Saturday, first road trip of the year.
Yeah, don't know much about Middle Georgia, but I know they're a tough team. Becky Hewitt, an alumni of USCB, is their first-year head coach, so that's going to be fun to kind of have her face her old team. So we look forward to that, and our first road test of the year. And we talked about it. I think in the season preview, we need to be better on the road, so it's exciting for us to get out early and see what we can do.
And then going beyond that, the Reinhardt tournament looms.
Yes.
Very close.
Yes, that is a great tournament for us. We're playing a ranked team in Campbellsville, and then Reinhardt is receiving votes, and Midway and Freed, they're very tough teams as well. So that's going to be a really important test for us and really good preparation as we move in a conference right after that.
Well, Team 9's a lot of fun to watch. They're a lot of fun to broadcast. We look forward to tomorrow's doubleheader against Savannah State, then hitting the road this weekend against Middle Georgia, and then Reinhardt after that. So some good stuff coming up for Team 9, and we'll have it all for you at home on the Sandshark Game Day Network. Thanks, Bailey, for your time today, and let's go get them tomorrow and over the weekend.
And as always, fins up.
This is Jody Vermilyea with Sandshark Bites. We'll see you next time, and as Bailey just said, let's do it. Fins up.